Hello everyone. In today's teaching lesson, I want to take you through a couple good examples, actually a few, so I think there's three here, examples of ranking writing styles using Python. So I came up with this idea a few months ago. A friend of mine from my fraternity, we're in Sigma Chi back in the good old college days, he asked me to help him. And well, it was a few people. They assembled a team of people to review essays for scholarships. So a lot of younger kids, undergrads and graduates going for their grad degree, are applying for scholarships if they are not financially well endowed enough to go ahead and fund their entire education themselves. They can apply for a scholarship through Sigma Chi, and it's all needs based. If you write a very coherent, very profound essay and explain why you need the money, and if you're completely deserving of this, you might be a recipient of a scholarship. So it's about 800 applicants, 800 Word documents. I thought, how am I going to scan through a bunch of Word documents? No, I didn't have to do 800, but I thought of this idea. How can I scan through a bunch of documents and understand the context of the documents and basically understand the writing styles? Is this a good writing style? Is it not so good? Is it intermediate? So it's in between. How proficient is the person writing the essay or not proficient? So we can rank all of these writing styles using a couple libraries in Python, right? So TextBlob, this involves some natural language processing, abbreviated NLP, and a few other libraries that have encoded a lot of useful stuff for us to go ahead and do this task pretty quickly and pretty effortlessly. So let me take you through the code. And in the end, just to be completely honest, like they used a very obtuse system that didn't allow for me to enter my rankings and do all this. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way, and it took probably about a month of time each day. I was working maybe an hour to half an hour each day. It took probably 3 days to get through. But if you don't have a really archaic system that you're working with, and you can go ahead and just scan through hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of essays or whatever you have, any kind of writing style, any kind of book, any kind of essay document, this technique will be very streamlined, very efficient, very automated, and allow you to do all that, right? So you can do a pretty big lift quickly and easily. And that's why I tried to make all of my videos about things that are pretty generic so you can apply this to your own specific situation. Now, I don't think you have to necessarily read through 800 essays describing why people are applying for scholarships, but if you have to scan through a whole bunch of hundreds or thousands of Word documents or PDFs or whatever the case may be, whatever format you're scanning through, I think this concept is pretty close to being able to help you to achieve your task quickly and easily. You might have to make a few small modifications to the code, but I'm trying to make it very generic and very easy to implement, right, and easy to comprehend as well, right? So let's get into it. We're loading these libraries. The first thing we're going to do is look at some sentiment analysis, right? Positive, neutral, or negative. Is the overall emotion a positive one, or is it kind of neutral, or is it kind of a negative emotion? Now, I wouldn't expect applicants for scholarships to have negative comments, but who knows? You know, there might be some. I'd expect most of them to be positive, some to be neutral. You might be a couple negative references in there, and those that's fine. If that's in there, I would probably kick that out right away. That's not something that would promote to be a recipient for a scholarship. So we're doing some basic text analysis here, looking for sentiments, overall sentiment of the document. We're looking at vocabulary richness, sentence count, total word count. We're looking for vernacular ability to communicate clearly and concisely. Are you getting your ideas across? That's what all these libraries are looking for, right? The richness of the vocabulary, the meaningfulness, the ability of the person to articulate their thoughts through their writing style, right? So that's what we're looking for. And this code is helping us to analyze all of that, okay? So we're looking for grammar, scoring the grammar. We're going to do ranking, okay? And all the essays sit in this directory right here. So I have a path to the directory. This variable is called essay directory, aptly named, okay? And this sits on my desktop. This is right over here. If I open it, and I think it's open. Let me see. Yep, right there. I see essays. So in this case, we have 11, right? The actual count was more like 800, but again, we couldn't really use this technique because the system just didn't allow it. But let's say you just want to scan through 800 Word documents and understand the richness, the vocabulary, the coherence, the articulateness, the ability of the person to articulate their thoughts. This is going to do that for you, right? So you have the file path, the emotion analysis, coherence, grammar score, readability score, language. So all these things are going to come into the picture frame right now when I hit Control Enter to refresh this, and we will see what the output is in just a second here. Okay, average sentence length, vocabulary richness, and average word length, right? And the file name, we want to know who's saying what. We have to identify the essay, right? Who's the writing attributed to, and things like that. So we'll get all the details here printed out. So we have a couple, it looks like notifications, no errors or anything. I think a warning, and spaCy is very verbose. Okay, so it's giving us a bunch of information here. This is honestly kind of useless. If I was running this in a professional production setting, I might look into turning this off. That's fine. There's a couple warnings. Okay, so we got what we want. That looks nice. So let me go up to the top a little bit. So we had some nonsense and some superfluous information at the beginning, but now we finally got something useful and informative, right? Let me go up a little bit. This computer is so slow. It's amazing that the thing even works. Like going back to the 1980s, I think. Okay, so we have the first essay here. We have the richness score, average sentence length, average word length, coherence score, grammar score, 0.9 out of 1.0. So pretty much very well spoken, but very well written. Readability score, negative 1.8. That's a little bit concerning, but that's fine. And the language is English. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now this is the identifier right here. Change the world, right? This guy wants to change the world. Congrats. Good luck with that, with all that stuff. So emotion analysis, positive 1, neutral 1, negative 1. So very positive essay. Vocabulary 0.48. Average sentence, average word length. Okay, that's great. Grammar score 0.90. Readability negative. So I think this readability, I looked at this before. I haven't looked at this in a couple of months, but I think readability is fine. It's like, is this person be able to write and read, or can the reader understand this if they're operating, I think, at an 8th grade grammar level? I think that's what that is. So to have a negative score isn't necessarily bad. I think that's just saying like 0 to maybe negative 100. I forgot what the scale is. It looks a little bit weird, but the readability score, I think, is okay in this case. I'm more focused on the grammar score at this point. Grammar score 0.89. Readability, I think that's how easy it is to read. So negative 100 would be like very easy, almost like, yeah, like an infant, just slightly older than an infant could read it. And if it was more complex, it would be like a lower number. So I think lower is actually better in this case. I forgot what that is. I'd have to Google it. So this, again, you have the ID of the person, or the essay name, right? Never give up. That's positive, right? And the guys or girls, no, this is a guy because these are fraternity brothers. Overall positive 10, neutral 3, a little bit negative. Not sure why, but we can open that document and read it. Grammar score 0.92 and readability 0.42. So all of these are coming back pretty positive. These are pretty good. So I would set up, if I was doing this, more like a filter. Any kind of grammar score greater than 0.9, I would keep it. Anything under that, I would toss it out. This readability is positive now, 0.13. I have to look that up because I forgot what it means, but it's fine. That's fine. This one is positive, neutral 18, and negative. So a lot of emotions in this essay right here. Personal hardship. Oh, I think he's going through some tough times. So there are some negative thoughts in this one, but that's fine. He's probably just describing his upbringing. Maybe it was tough. I don't know. But anyways, I wanted to show you the coherence score, grammar score, and then how this natural language tool interprets all these documents and processes all 11 and assigns ranking to the richnesses of the vocabulary, the coherence, the ability of the individual to convey their thoughts and their feelings in the written word. Okay, so let us do another example here. Similar, slightly different. We're still going through all the essays in that folder and getting the score for each one. Okay, so we have file name. So we have the identifier of the file, right? This is readability, rank, grammar, coherence. So this is a little crisp and tight compared to the last one. That was measuring a bunch of different features. And with these libraries, this is not all there is, right? There's all kinds of different items that you can tease out. We're only looking at vocabulary, richness, coherence, grammar rank, and readability rank, but there's like dozens and dozens of different features that you can extract from these documents, and Python will pick up all of these and report all of these. So if that's something you want to exploit, just to get a couple dozen different features from each document and then go ahead and start filtering out based on the ranking of each one, that is totally doable. This is just like a cursory overview of what can be done. I'm not going into that kind of extreme detail, but if you think about it, you can set this up to scan through hundreds or even thousands of documents and rank order these and pick out maybe like the top 10 or the top 20, top 25 or something like that. Without reading 1,000 documents, you can pretty quickly pick the top ones from that list of 1,000. Okay, so we have one more example here. Let me hit Control Enter and refresh it. I haven't looked at this in a little while, so we will learn together what this one is doing. Sentence length, coherence, verb count, grammar score, vocabulary, richness, and coherence score and grammar score. Okay, so kind of similar to before. I think we're picking up a few more features from each file. Going through the file path in the folder called essays on my desktop, and here we go. We have the scores again. So readability, grammar, coherence, vocabulary, richness. Okay, so that's pretty cool, I think. So this is just a small sample of what can be done. There's all kinds of different features that you can extract from the written word and all of these files sitting in a folder. And I suppose if you had files scanned or scattered across multiple folders, you can put that into the code and say, okay, drill into the parent folder, drill into all the children folders and extract all the data. If you have hierarchical sort of folder structure, you can certainly do that. Everything in my scenario here is just contained in one folder. But that's it. You have scoring metrics, which I think is pretty cool and extremely useful. You have weightings of features, right? Grammar, vocabulary, richness, cohesiveness, clarity, ability of the person to communicate and to convey their feelings through the written word, right? And then perhaps the most important, the subjectivity and evaluation of the writing style, right? So you can even rank that. That's pretty cool too, right? So it's almost not just quantitative, but almost qualitative too. It's pretty cool what you can do with these NLP libraries. So that's pretty much it. This is the end of the video here. I'm going to stop it in just a moment. Thank you so much for seeing through this to the end. I really appreciate that. Hopefully you learned something new. I try to learn new things every single day, at least one new thing per day. Thanks again for your time, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.